Tonight on News 5 Live, the Upper House votes unanimously for a special select committee to investigate the dubious definitive agreement. A woman is murdered overnight in Progreso, and an expecting mother is critically injured during a hit and run. We'll also tell you about the BTV's latest expedition to Sarston Island. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
And now, the hottest match of the evening. Get ready for action! Here they come. Amazing! They're unstoppable, unbeatable. They have him on the ropes. The heat rises to the top. 1, 2, and 3. taste of Belize with the new Chiladas crunchy tortilla taco chips in its hot chili flavor. Fiery habanero brings the heat.
They're on fire. Chiladas.
From Snackers, done right, done here.
Get ready, babe. We're going on a vacation.
Finally, where are we going?
Don't worry, babe. I have we covered.
Are you sure you know where we're going?
Yes, babe. Oh, right there, see? Babe, the price me too good to be true. Me look much more better in that picture.
When life throws you a curveball, Belize Bank has your back. With our online financing, you can turn any vacation mishap into a dream getaway.
Cheers to Belize Bank for making our dream vacation a reality.
Thanks to you, babe, to turn things around.
No thanks to you, cheapo.
Ouch.
Experience the future of financing with Belize Bank online, where you can secure funds for anything, from anywhere, at any time, all without stepping foot in a bank. Apply for a loan today and unlock a world of possibilities.
Belize's favorite Tuesday night entertainment is back. KTV The Remix Season 5. On Tuesday, July 4th, we go live on Channel 5 and streaming on Facebook and YouTube. But what better way to enjoy KTV than to be seated at the Bliss? Come out and win fabulous prizes and a chance to compete in our KTV challenges. Tickets are available at Channel 5 on Coney Drive or at 88th Store on Central American Boulevard in Belize City for only $3 for children and $5 for adults. The show starts at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. KTV The Remix Season 5. It's going to be fun, exciting, and live only on Channel 5.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank. Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Monday, July 10th. I am Sabrina Daly. It took the news by storm in May when word got out that a definitive agreement existed between the government of Belize and Portico Enterprises Limited. A 31-page document that proposed huge concessions for an ambitious project. In part, it called for, quote, development, construction, operation, and management of a cruise ship docking facility, including access channel and other maritime and offshore structures required thereonto, and strategically locate therein duty-free stores, concession stands, beaches, restaurants, bars, and a hotel of 300 rooms with casino throughout the terminal and its surroundings, end quote. The project would be located on the coast of the Belize District, 3 miles south of the Saboon River. And when that document saw the day of light, it raised the brows of many who question its validity and whether there were any tacit arrangements for a developer to enjoy the kinds of concessions contained in the agreement. The agreement dated back to October 2020 and was signed by Portico and former Minister of Economic Development, Erwin Contreras. The current government has gotten 2 legal opinions on the validity of the agreement, which was tabled in Cabinet for consideration before it was set aside and later trashed. But the definitive agreement has raised so much concern that the senator for the non-government community, Janelle Chanona, had previously indicated the intention to present a motion for the appointment of a special select committee to investigate the definitive agreement. And today, the Senate held a special sitting for just that, the presentation of a motion that passed through with unanimous support. Now the Senate will appoint the committee that will investigate the definitive agreement, the terms of which will be made clear when it is set up. The government will have 2 representatives on the 7-member Special Select Committee. But from the sequence of events that have led to today, the investigation will look at the definitive agreement and all accompanying documents, the terms as well as the conditions of the agreement. Today, after presenting the motion, Senator Chinona explained to the media why this matter is such an important matter to investigate.
I rise to present a motion for the appointment of a special select committee to investigate all documents, communications, and processes tied to the signing of the document titled Definitive Agreement by and between the Government of Belize and Portico Enterprises Limited, DBA, the Port of Magical Belize, dated October 2020, and to investigate all documents, communications, and processes that resulted in the document titled Definitive Agreement by and between the Government of Belize and Portico Enterprises Limited, DBA, the Port of Magical Belize, dated October 2020, being presented to Cabinet accompanied by draft legislation and Cabinet White Paper in May 2023. I think it is important to stress to the public that this is a serious matter. We brought this as independent senators in the interest of good governance, and it's really that going forward, this is what it's going to be. Getting to the bottom of what we're dealing with, I don't think any of us feels comfortable trying to piece through interviews and all these ads and all of that. So it's really about treating it as seriously as it is. And we also want to signal from now that anyone called before the committee should also treat it just as seriously. Well, the Senate Select Committee is empowered by the Constitution that speaks specifically to empowering members of the Senate to call for inquiries, particularly into national interests. Further, perhaps because of lessons learned from other exercises, you will note that under the terms of reference that we have provided that anyone that presents witness statements and information will have an opportunity to review the report within 14 days of receiving the report, so that if they differ, then at least it can be stated that they differ, and whoever is reading it, because it will be a public document, will be able to say their piece.
The definitive agreement has had both political mass parties accusing each other of some degree of corruption, to have either signed the document into existence in one instance and to facilitate its progress in the other. Over the weekend, Prime Minister John Bersenio told reporters that the government got a second legal opinion on the matter because the first attorney, who happens to be Belize's lead counsel in its case against Guatemala at the ICJ, Dr. Ben Juratovich, misunderstood what he was asked of. After the Juratovich advice on agreement, the government then sought the advice of senior counsel Douglas Mendez. But former Attorney General UDP Senator Mike Perfeet, who has said former Minister Contreras had no legal authority to have signed the document, had other theories why the government sought a second opinion.
Really? I mean, that is a shocking thing to say, because in the opinion, Ben Juratovich says exactly what he was asked to do, what his instructions were, including, if you notice in the opinion, he said that this government instructed him that myself, Dean Barrow, our cabinet, or the investment committee did not agree to have that definitive agreement signed. We did not validate that. We did not approve that. That was critical for this government to tell Ben Juratovich, and an amazing admission that they made, thankfully, because, well, it's the truth. For you to say that a person like Juratovich would not understand his assignment is nothing short of crazy, because this is the man who represents us at the ICJ in Belize versus Guatemala. I hope he understood the instructions we gave him when we meet as a part of that team about Belize. I hope he does that. All right, you would think that a person who holds that position would certainly understand what an assignment is. To be quite frank, I don't think the Prime Minister is telling the truth. Of course, Ben understood the assignment. What the Prime Minister does not like is the response, the assessment, the truth. Ben Juratovich is not going to give the government an opinion the government wants. He's going to give them a solid legal opinion. They went opinion shopping to another attorney who they believed would have given them the opinion that they wanted. That is what happened. It's not a matter of not understanding the assignment.
Former Prime Minister Dean Barrow also chimed in briefly on the significance of a special select committee to investigate the dubious agreement between Portico and the government of Belize. He says that the members of civil society in the upper house are owed a debt of gratitude for their endeavor.
This is a really, really serious issue, and I think that the social partners, in calling for the special select committee inquiry, are doing the right thing. I believe that the society owes them a debt of gratitude for their standing up and saying no. There must be an inquiry. We must know why things happened the way they did. In effect, the Prime Minister must account for what took place. I think that is very much as it should be.
Both sides of the aisle supported the Special Select Committee's investigation of the definitive agreement. And both sides have pointed fingers at each other with accusations of corruption. When we had a break to speak with PUP Senator Eamon Courtney following the Senate meeting, we asked him what misunderstanding there could have been on Juratorich's end that Prime Minister referred to this weekend. Courtney referred us back to the PM.
There is a lot of innuendo, there is a lot of slander, there is defamation that is about. The Senate needs to confine itself to the facts, to what has happened, seek the documents, seek the witnesses, and come and have a full hearing and then report. And should not fall victim to the fake news and to the alternative narrative that is being propagated by certain persons. There are a lot of people who have been deeply involved in this in the United Democratic Party and have all of a sudden attempted to cleanse themselves of the stench of the corruption associated with it. It's not that easy, and I prefer to wait for the inquiry to investigate and let us see where this leads.
Ben Juratorich misunderstood the assignment given to him by the government. What would the assignment have been to him? Would you know?
I don't know what you're talking
The
about.
Prime Minister said that just this weekend, I believe.
Question the Prime Minister about that.
Sir, but as the Minister of Immigration, is it concerning, given that I understand Mr. Juratorich is one of our representatives at The Hague, so is it concerning that the PM would say he misunderstood an assignment?
It is not concerning to me.
Coming up, did Ben Juratorich really misunderstand his legal assignment? Find out the details of these stories when we come back.
Bye. Why long time to try call you?
Meet Alex.
Where they go on, man?
Alex signed up for a Digi1 premium bundle. He's loving it. With his free mobile plan, Alex can talk and surf on the go as much as he wants. Topping up and buying data is a thing of the past. Alex now has Digi TV. He enjoys all his games and his favorite shows, no matter if he's on the go or at home. And Alex also enjoys the fastest, most reliable home internet speeds with his DigiNet service. He is living his best life. Alex bundled. Alex is saving $70 monthly compared to purchasing these services from the other providers. Be like Alex. Sign up for your Digi1 bundle package today. Digi1. One bundle, no hassle, exceptional value.
"20 years ago, there was a vision to upgrade the coastal highway. Luckily, today we can stand here and say that it has become a reality. The coastal highway was typically only used during the dry weather because it is located in a low-lying area, and it was very susceptible to flooding.
This project basically entails the upgrading of existing gravel road to an internationally paved standard. It also includes the rehabilitation of 3 existing bridges and the construction of 6 new bridge structures. It also includes significant drainage improvement works in an effort to make the road more climate resilient.
The road was terrible, terrible condition. When I used to have my vehicle, you got to keep on going to the mechanic over and over. You get rotten underneath, you get punctured, all different kind of wear and tear. So you used to take up what we call a licking, no? Due to the improvement of the road, many more people come to the village and purchase my L right here. I hardly even have to go to Langriga like before.
Really and truly happy that they built this road because we used to take like about almost 19 to 20 hours from Tower Hill to Big Creek. But now how we're using the coastal road right now, we are doing it in 17 hours roughly. We were burning about almost 85 gallons of fuel. Now using this road, now we are only burning like about 35 gallons.
I'm the developer of a small project here. We're going to do a little gas station, a sister gas station to the Shell gas station in Santa Elena town. This is the first step to the development of business here, the highway, and then as businesses come, it's like a stepping stone for other businesses, and then residential people start living here because there'll be work in the area, and that's how we'll grow this whole community.
When a hurricane season starts, that is when we have the rainy season and flooding, and most of the time the teachers cannot reach to school because of the coastal road flooding. But now, since the road is upgraded, it is very easy for us to be here, very easy for students to get out of the community if we have an emergency. And it's also very easy to have access to in and out of the community without worrying about if they would get back in if there's rain or flooding.
And this would not have been possible without the invaluable financial support from the government of United Kingdom based on the grant that they have given to Belize. We're also thankful for the financial support that we have received from the Caribbean Development Bank, and of course, the counterpart funding that has been provided by the government of Belize, and the support that we have received from the engineering consultant, Polytechnica, and the management and implementation team of the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing Project Execution Unit. I thank everyone for their hard work and commitment that they have put into this project and to make it a success.
What has happened is that unfortunately Ben Jurasovich misunderstood what was asked of him.
This is our attorney at the International Court of Justice. The Prime Minister is publicly throwing him under the bus to protect Portugal, to protect Geg and Gulab. You didn't like the answer because the answer told you the agreement is crap. No, that's not the answer you wanted to hear. No, that's the same position he reached. He tear up the agreement. That's what Ben said to do.
No good for nothing.
How did you get from point A to point B?
Obviously, it is going to be binding. Definitive agreement, that will not fly.
So Ben misunderstood. Well, then obviously you misunderstood too because you damn well tear up the agreement, which is what Ben Juratovic said to do on April 20th. And you make scenery on June 16th. Tearing up the agreement, the man said to do it April 20th.
Did the esteemed legal mind tasked with providing Cabinet with an initial opinion on the validity of the definitive agreement misunderstand his assignment? That's what Prime Minister John Bersenio told reporters this weekend. He said that King's Counsel Dr. Ben Juratorich got it wrong, prompting Cabinet to seek a second opinion from Senior Counsel Douglas Mendez. But how could Juratorich, widely regarded as a preeminent attorney, get it wrong? Prime Minister Bersenio explains.
What has happened is that unfortunately Ben Jurasovich, senior QC, misunderstood what was asked of him. So when our legal minds looked at it, basically told me, Prime Minister, don't waste your time, don't read it. They misunderstood what was being asked of them. So we asked Senior Counsel Mendez, Douglas Mendez, who better understands the Caribbean and Belize. And then he took a deeper look into it. And then he made the opinion that he believes that the minister did have the legal authority to do it. But I think that we need to move on from this because we took it to Cabinet, and yes, we prepared everything because that's what we do to Cabinet. And But right there in cabinet, within 15 minutes, we decided that we don't want to proceed this way. And so I told cabinet, I pulled it back. I said, I'm pulling back this paper, and I instructed both Minister Mala as the Minister of Tourism and Minister Koi as the Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance to meet with all the parties and to come up with something different and something new and something that is going to be more palatable to everybody and that can meet the legal requirements in making such a big investment. They're working on that, and I'm hoping that within the next few weeks we will be able to present something that can move this project forward.
This afternoon, we sat with former Prime Minister Dean Barrow, himself a distinguished attorney, to discuss his perspective on the Mendez opinion. He says that he opposes quite a number of Mendez's deductions where the validity of the definitive agreement is concerned.
I don't agree with Mr. Mendez's opinion at all, or perhaps I should rephrase that. I don't agree with very many of his conclusions. Certainly, he ended up saying that Erwin Contreras had actual authority to sign that definitive agreement. I think he's way wrong on that. But in any case, what I think we need to focus on is why the administration, the current administration, felt it needed to get a second opinion after the Juratowicz opinion. It's almost, well, not it's almost, it's clear that the administration was opinion shopping. That, the way I see it, they were determined to go around until they got an opinion that suited them. Clearly, the Juratowicz opinion didn't suit them. That's the first point. The second point is that, as far as we can tell, none of the opinions, neither of the two opinions, was shared with Cabinet at the time the Cabinet memorandum was presented and discussed. Now, that is very significant because Juratowicz said plainly, he ended on the note that everything else apart, the fact that the so-called definitive agreement sought to bind Parliament means that it is unenforceable, punto final. When Mendez opined, he differed on several points from Juratowicz, but he did concede that the clauses in the agreement that sought to bind Parliament were illegal.
Tourism Minister Anthony Mahler, along with Minister of State Chris Koyi, has been assigned to renegotiating a more favorable agreement for all parties involved in the development of Port of Magical Belize. While the definitive agreement has been rubbished, Mahler told reporters over the weekend that a legislation is being considered that will, quote, guide investments of that sort, end quote.
There was a definitive agreement that has been torn up. There is no definitive agreement again. We are going to create a piece of legislation that creates an enabling environment for any investor at that level to get certain concessions from the government. It happens all over the world. What I know is that we need a docking facility in Belize and Belize City, sorry. And it is important that we drive the process forward in transparency and accountability to the Belizean people, and that's what we're doing.
What do you estimate the timeline for restructuring the definitive agreement that will be presented to Portugal?
But you're asking me a question when I told you that the definitive agreement has been torn up.
But a new one.
So I don't think there's going to be a definitive agreement. There's just going to be a piece of legislation that would guide investments of that sort.
So how will conversations with Portico and investors interested in that project be geared, or how will that conversation move forward without a definitive agreement? What will that conversation look like?
You have to create an enabling environment. I will say this, that from the information that I have, that the partners in that investment have said that they are willing to tear up the definitive agreement as well, right?
On the topic of cruise tourism, Mueller readily admits that sector of the travel and leisure industry is much smaller than overnight arrivals. However, there is still need for the development of cruise terminals with docking facilities in Belize. He frames it in the context of the definitive agreement and Cabinet's role in openly examining the benefits and drawbacks of such proposals.
Everything comes to Cabinet. They're ventilated. We looked at the definitive agreement, we looked at the draft bill, and a lot of these things have to do with timing, you know. I keep saying that sometimes we don't operate with a level of urgency in this country. We ventilated the definitive agreement, the legislation and the Cabinet paper in Cabinet, and led by the Prime Minister, he said, no, this can't go forward, and we put it on hold. And he tore it up in the House, and we're moving forward. Do you all agree that there is a need for a docking facility in Belize?
Definitely.
Otherwise, the numbers will go down. And so when you're looking at the investment of Port of Magical, you're looking at Buscalis, you're looking at Royal Caribbean, who has a great level of investments all across the world in terms of ports. And then you have a group out of England that is the financiers or part financier for the project. So you have serious players at the table, and we have to have that discussion with them. Now, it will take some time more, but I believe we'll get something worked out for the best interest of the Belizean people.
After the break, an expecting mother is knocked down in a hit and run. But first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
What has happened is that unfortunately Ben Jurasovich misunderstood what was asked of him.
This is our attorney at the International Court of Justice. The Prime Minister is publicly throwing him under the bus to protect Portugal, to protect Geg and Gulab. You didn't like the answer because the answer told you the agreement is crap. No, that's not the answer you wanted to hear. No, that's the same position he reached. He tear up the agreement. That's what Ben said to do.
No good for nothing.
How did you get from point A to point B?
Obviously, it is going to be binding. Definitive agreement, that will not fly.
So Ben misunderstood. Well, then obviously you misunderstood too, because you damn well tear up the agreement, which is what Ben Jurasovich said to do on April 20th. And you make scenery on June 16th. Tearing up the agreement, the man said to do it April 20th.
The Belize Tourism Board, Mars Production, and Belican present the biggest show to hit the jewel we call Belize. It's the Belize International Music and Food Festival 2.0. Join us on Saturday, July 29th and Sunday, July 30th at the Marion Jones Stadium with live performances by Morgan Heritage,
I'll be down by the river.
the dancehall queen Spice,
Me's a girl, me no fight over man.
Busy Signal,
Turn up for them stairs,
Afrobeat sensation Rotimi, the biggest dancehall artist for 2023, Byron Messiah, alongside Skinny Fabulous, Jadelle, Earth and Owls, Belize International Music and Food Festival 2.0, July 29th and 30th. Come savor the rhythm as we pair music with the best of Belizean cuisine. Sponsors are Belize Tourism Board, Pelican, Niche, Pop, ICB, Wine Smith, eCash, Dolphin Production, DigiWallet, Channel 5, Love FM, Creme Radio, Channel 7, Vibes Radio, Fiesta FM, and OYE Radio.
From generation to generation, Crystal Water is there every step of the way. Taste you can trust.
When it comes to cleaning and hygiene, Karcher makes a difference. Available at Benny's, quality and savings.
Belize's favorite Tuesday night entertainment is back. KTV The Remix Season 5. On Tuesday, July 4th, we go live on Channel 5 and streaming on Facebook and YouTube. But what better way to enjoy KTV than to be seated at the Bliss? Come out and win fabulous prizes and a chance to compete in our KTV challenges. Tickets are available at Channel 5 on Coney Drive or at 88th Store on Central American Boulevard in Belize City for only $3 for children and $5 for adults. The show starts at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. KTV The Remix Season 5. It's going to be fun, exciting, and live only on Channel 5.
In the wee small hours of this morning, a murder took place in the village of Progreso in the Corzal district. 52-year-old Rosita Ramona Oliveira was socializing with her brother, sister-in-law, and one other person when an argument ensued between the couple. Oliveira intervened in the quarrel and was reportedly stabbed multiple times to the face and chest. She was rushed to the Northern Regional Hospital where she succumbed to her injuries. According to Assistant Commissioner of Police Alberto Romero, the knife-wielding assailant was detained and will be charged for the crime shortly.
Around 12:05 a.m., police responded to the Northern Regional Hospital where they found Rosita Oliveira with stab wounds to the body. She was pronounced dead shortly thereafter at the hospital. Investigation revealed that she was along with 3 other persons when another couple began with a domestic dispute. The female left and came back to the area with a knife and attempted to stab another male person. The deceased Rosita Oliveira intervened, at which point the female proceeded to stab her to the chest area and to the face. One person is in custody in regards to this fatal stabbing. Statements are being recorded and the investigation is being put together, and we'll determine the charge by this evening.
39-year-old Glenda Estrada, an expecting mother, was knocked down during a hit-and-run incident over the weekend in Ladyville. Estrada was at a store purchasing items that she needed, ahead of being admitted to the ward at the KHMH for the delivery of her son, when she was struck by a vehicle. According to her common-law husband, Nelson Petch, he was at home when he heard a loud bang. He immediately ran outside to see what had happened when he realized that Estrada had been injured. Petch told News 5 today that he did everything possible to transport his wife to Belize City for emergency medical attention. including a C-section to bring forth the newborn.
I was at home just taking care of my three-year-old son, and she was at the shop just getting some more medicine and things to make the pain raise more so she could come to the hospital. And from that I just hear a bang and I hurry and run, and I see she laying down there, just hit, and there's where I try to do something, and my mind tell me I have to move she and bring her because she's had a baby, and I feel her thing, so I could feel it move, so I said I have to take her. So we managed to bring her with a pickup because we were waiting for ambulance and nothing that reached.
How badly is she hurt?
Well, it's from her head. She can recover from the knock where he get. I think it's hard because he get a lot of bleeding and thing.
Did the person who knocked her down give any kind of assistance to bring her here, or was it a hit and run?
Well, till right now we don't know too much of that. It was just a hit and run. Then even stopped, nothing. From far as I could hear, it is a lady.
How is the newborn doing?
Well, thanks God the baby is fine. I'm so happy to see him. And I just wish the mom could get happy like me too and just fight hard, and I know she will make it.
Are you guys seeking any kind of financial assistance? You need to raise some money to help you with the expenses?
Well, right now with the post where my friends and things do, I'm getting help right now, and that's how I managed to pay my bill where they mean it, because they say it was urgent, so we try our best, and thanks to everybody who are supporting me.
A group of armed men entered a home in Cristo Rey village this morning and stole a safe containing an undisclosed amount of cash. The men also made off with a Toyota Hilux. This afternoon, Assistant Commissioner of Police Alberto Romero told reporters that police were still on the scene and that the vehicle is yet to be located.
Sometime around 11 a.m., San Ignacio police received a report of an aggravated burglar in Cristo Rey village. They proceeded to the area where initial information is that stolen from a house by some male persons armed with firearm was one Hilux vehicle along with a safe containing an undisclosed amount of cash and firearms. That is all the details we have at this time, as investigators are still processing the scene.
Thieves targeted a businessman and his son in Esperanza village on Sunday. According to police, the father and son met up to collect cash from a delivery. They were ambushed during the transaction. ACP Romero told us more.
Francis Requena reported that on Sunday he went to visit his son who had just returned from doing a delivery. Upon his arrival to collect the cash from the deliveries, they were ambushed by two male persons with firearms who held them up and stole an undisclosed amount of money that was in the truck. Thereafter, the two male persons made good their escape from the area. We do not have any suspects for this robbery at this time.
Is it believed to be an inside job?
We do not know.
Two armed men held up an establishment in Calcutta village on Sunday afternoon. According to police, the men armed with a machete and a knife robbed the business of an undisclosed sum of money before making good their escape.
Okay, on Sunday, the 9th day of July 2023, around 3:14 p.m., police responded to the report of a robbery at Calcutta village. Upon arrival, Ricky Wu, 18 years, reported that he was at the store attending to customers and he was assaulted by two male persons, one armed with a machete, the other with a knife, who proceeded to rob him. They stole an undisclosed amount of cash and thereafter made good their escape. We have reviewed video footage and we are looking for two suspects in regards to this robbery.
Caribbean International Brewery, maker of Mine Bear, was raided by immigration authorities, as well as the Financial Intelligence Unit in October 2022. 11 persons were taken into custody, and $3.2 million was confiscated by the FIU. Earlier this month, all persons, Asian nationals, were found not guilty and subsequently released. On Friday, the court also ordered the FIU to return the sum of money to CIBCL after it failed to establish a case after seizing the funds from the factory in Carmelita. Senior counsel Dean Barrow, whose law firm represents the owners of Caribbean International Brewery, spoke with us about the recent developments.
We continued to represent them with respect to the cash that had been seized. And on Thursday, what happened was that the last order that the court had made to allow the FIU to continue to detain the cash expired that very day. The FIU sent us an advance copy of a new application, which they never filed until the very day of the hearing, the day the previous order was expiring, and made clear that they would be asking for a further extension of the detention. It appeared for another 6 months. The last order lasted from January until last week, so that was for 6 months. Mr. Waite, who has been accompanying me the entire time, he went up to represent the firm and to advocate for the company. I couldn't make the particular hearing. Long story short, at the end of the proceedings, Mr. Waite made several objections and made several representations. The magistrate adjourned and gave her decision the following day. That decision was that the FIU was not any longer entitled to hold the money. She would not make an order extending the detention because the FIU had failed to show that there was a good reason for continuing to detain the money. In other words, they needed to convince the magistrate that our investigation is proceeding and it is bearing fruit. And we feel that very shortly we will be in a position to bring charges with respect to this cash. They put up an affidavit, but I will tell you that having read it, I found it utterly unconvincing, and clearly so did the magistrate.
Arrangements have been made for the money to be transferred to CIBCL's account via bank transfer. An application for judicial review has also been filed to look at the legality of the raid, as well as the seizure of money from the company. When we return, Belize Territorial Volunteers takes over Sarston FOB, despite warning signs for trespassers.
It seems like every other day, we hear of a family member or friend being diagnosed with a serious illness such as cancer, heart attack, kidney failure, or stroke. When these illnesses strike, you want to focus on recovery and your overall well-being. At RFNG Life Insurance, we offer critical illness insurance to help with medical expenses when diagnosed with such critical illnesses, providing security to access quality healthcare facilities and to ease the worry about finances. In case you are diagnosed with a life-threatening illness that is covered by the policy, critical illness insurance pays you a lump sum amount to help you obtain access to quality treatment and medication. Having critical illness insurance provides the financial support that will bring you and your family the security and peace of mind necessary to manage these illnesses. The possibility of being diagnosed can be worrying, but by having a critical illness plan, you could have funds to assist with expenses such as medications, hospital deductibles, childcare, household expenses, and so much more. The right time to plan for the unexpected is when you're healthy. For more information, visit our office today to speak with one of our experienced agents about critical illness insurance. Your health and wellness is what matters most. Take care of it.
The Office of the Prime Minister invites you to join us at the second annual Belize Investment Summit from August 30th to September 1st, 2023 at the Grand Caribe Resort on Berger's Key. Belize, the land of endless potential, with a vibrant people and economy and a wealth of natural resources, is the region's premier investment hub, offering a range of opportunities across sectors including the blue, green, and orange economies. The Belize Investment Summit 2023 is your chance to explore these opportunities and connect with potential partners, investors, financiers, and stakeholders from across the globe. This 3-day summit will offer networking opportunities, site visits, one-on-one meetings, roundtable discussions, business pitches, an expo, and keynote presentations from government officials and industry leaders. Gain insight into Belize's investment climate and the incentives that make our country the destination for investment. Register now for the Belize Investment Summit 2023 and discover a world of opportunities. Be a believer. Invest in Belize. Thrive in Belize.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Welcome to Design Depot, home of Sherwin-Williams Paint. Sherwin-Williams Paint is one of the most reputable paints in the industry, known for its superior quality, durability, and environmentally friendly technology. We carry a large variety of products for all your home and commercial needs, such as interior and exterior paints, primers, wood stains, sealers, clear top coats, caulking, aerosols, concrete, and masonry products. Achieve professional-looking results with ease using Sherwin-Williams paint and coating. Available at Design Depot, all in one place.
KTV The Remix Season 5, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Come on out and win fabulous prizes and the chance to compete in our halftime challenge. Tickets are available at Channel 5 on Pony Drive and 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard. $3 for children and $5 for adults. Or catch it live on Channel 5, Facebook, and YouTube every Tuesday at 8 p.m. from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Don't miss KTV The Remix Season 5. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
Over the weekend, the Belize Territorial Volunteers, led by Wilma Hia, traveled to the Sarston River where they were intent on taking over the forward operating base at the mouth of the river. The forward operating base was installed back in 2015. Over the last year or so, the military post has been deserted due to erosion in the area. While the structure itself is intact, it has been deemed unsafe. The BTV believes that not having any presence in the area gives way to illegal fishing and is an indictment of GOB's interest in the Sarston, which they say Guatemalans are exercising control over. On Saturday, the Belize Defense Force and the Belize Coast Guard prevented the group from disembarking at the base. But on Sunday, they returned and accomplished their goal. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
It was a calm and untroubled trip on board the Getaway as a small group of Belizeans traveled 20 miles from Punta Gorda to the southernmost end of the country, the Sarston. That peaceful, non-contentious sensation was completely unexpected even as we arrived at the mouth of the Sarston River, because many have come to associate expeditions to this location with some level of aggression and hostility.
And you see the Guatemalan base with their flags on it. And
there's no indication here that this is
and their
Belize
camouflage
or anything
building.
like that.
yeah. Well, we have to, encourage the government of Belize to do what is right for the Belizean people. This is the Sarston River. We need to maintain our presence on the Sarston River. And as I was saying earlier, it's not only about maintaining our presence here, but the social, economic, and environmental benefits that come.
For almost a year, the forward operating base here at the mouth of the Sarston has been unoccupied by Belize's military. But a move by the Belize Territorial Volunteers has triggered a reaction, and now a handful have been stationed here. Signs in English and Spanish were erected within days at the FOB, cautioning that it was a military installation and that trespassers would be prosecuted. The BDF soldiers, who were later joined by a group of personnel from the Belize Coast Guard, informed us that we would not be allowed to disembark at the base.
I expected our own government to push back. I think it's an embarrassment for them, and it's even more embarrassing to see that, look at the little handful of people they sent to try and stop us. I mean, I feel embarrassed for them because I know that they're only following commands. But the embarrassing part is when I have come here so many times with Will, this place was abandoned. We could dock there and nobody could tell us anything. They didn't have those signs. So I did expect that there would be a pushback. But you see, the fact that the government has to push back is an indication of their failure.
Attorney Audrey Matura, Big Ears Nigel Petillo, and Philip de la Fuente were among those on the expedition. They reacted to the experience, including being met by armed soldiers.
If this was a genuine occupation by the BDF of this place, one, they would not have only one boat. Two, they would not have only that little gallon there of water, because it means they would have come to stay long term. Three, they would not have had this, what you call only that barrel of fuel, because it takes more than that to be up and down. So they didn't come here to do any operation. Four, I don't see that they have any Belizean flag nor BDF flag. They claim this is a military installation, but there's just a sign. That's why I asked them, show me where it has been gazetted. Show me where in the law we have this, because in our country, everything has to be by law. And they have never gazetted that they're here. That is how timid the government is.
When we got to the forward operating base, I was hoping that the BDF would have greeted us with some shovels and some picks and some material to do the landfill with to help reclaim the land. But no, they met us with grenade launchers and armaments. So it's not a good sign.
As you can see, the structure is not leaning. It has a solid foundation, so there's no reason to abandon it. Yes, there is erosion over there, but the volunteers, have actually volunteered to help to build the wall so that the base could be intact. They have turned it around.
Commander of the Belize Defense Force, Brigadier General Azaria Luria, says that the expedition could further agitate tensions in the area and questioned the motive of the Belize Territorial Volunteers.
As recent as a month and a half ago, when in one of the excursions conducted by the Territorial Volunteers, we noticed a change in the attitude of the Guatemalan Navy that is on the other side of the river, and they started trying to deny us access from entering into the river, the bar mouth itself. Nevertheless, we told them that based on the 1859 treaty, we are patrolling what belongs to Belize and no more, which is the deepest navigable channel of the Sarston. And they kept tailing us, but about a month and a half ago was the last time that they did that. It is no longer, they are no longer doing it, and in so we have reverted back to kind of controlling the situation, which is more or less the Guatemalans, they start with those type of aggressiveness when someone goes there and agitated, rock the boat per se.
If he was doing his job, we would not need to be here today. All we were calling for is so that Belizeans have a constant presence on the Sarston without being harassed by anyone, not by our military or not by the Guatemalan military.
BTV returned on Sunday to find the base unoccupied once again. Despite the warning signs, they proceeded to install their banner.
We told the military if they are not occupying the base, that we would take it over. We are taking it over today, the Belize Territorial Volunteers. And as you can see, the amount of illegal fishing that's taking place in our waters, if they were here, that would not have happened.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
After several failed attempts, the Berger Field in Belize City has been upgraded and is now open to the public. A collaborative effort between Pigstock Area Representative Anthony Moller, the Football Federation of Belize, and several other organizations saw the $500,000 facility to completion. News 5's Paul Lopez was present at the inauguration ceremony on Sunday in Belize City. He filed the following report.
I feel like this is the 4th or 5th time that I've come to inaugurate this facility. We've been trying to get it right for 10 years, and this time we did not get it right. We got it perfect. Yeah, this is, I believe the name we gave it when the project started is the Field of Dreams, where the young people from this area will dream about the possibilities that sports and football especially can offer them.
Following numerous failed attempts at constructing a state-of-the-art football facility on the Berger Field, this Sunday the Brisenia administration and the Football Federation of Belize celebrated the successful realization of a long-standing vision.
Under this government and under the leadership of the Honorable John Brisenia and the partnerships that we are creating, we will get it done. I always say that I'm a man of my word, and from day one I said whatever it needs to get done, we will do so.
The facility was officially inaugurated during a brief ceremony that saw a number of government officials in attendance, including Prime Minister John Brisenia. The project is the brainchild of Minister of Tourism Anthony Moller, the area representative for Pigstock. It features a synthetic football pitch, concrete bleachers, 2 playgrounds, and a number of other amenities. Lindy Rogers, a long-standing resident of the area, spoke about the history of the field and its significance to residents.
1957-58, when I born, Lindy Rogers and then George Price, they make sure they start there by digging out Lake Independence. I put my field out there on the swamp. So when I'm 4 years old, I had to play out there. So I know the history and I know the love. And the kids were gone fire. The history of this, why I say, because this come a long way from you all to make this work. This work.
Colonel Hyde, the Deputy Prime Minister and area representative for Lake Independence, grew up a stone's throw away from the Berger Field. He recollected the positive impact sports had on his peers while growing up in the area.
When you pass here, I mean a treat. God is a legendary field. It's the hallowed ground. This is a dirt field, but it's produced some of Belize's finest. Finest you could think about. The great Cristobal Mayen, Earl Mandingo Barnett, Gene, the Japanese Bomber Gill, Ricky Gongora, Benedict Lopez player. And then something gone wrong in our neighborhood. The last few decades, all we've known is mayhem and bloodshed and deaths, right? Ton load of the people where I grew up with dead. Ton load of their kids get killed. Things get crazy. When crack cocaine come to Belize 1986, they eat we up, they pulverize we, destroy we, big man, big role models, Ton Lee boy. But the help of Mr. Mala, we take back the community, we take back the neighborhood, we take it back for the kids. We take it back for the kids.
Prime Minister John Briceño kicked the opening shot on the newly constructed pitch. Following the ceremony, PM Briceño was a semi-pro footballer in his time. He praised the project and committed to constructing 2 additional facilities in Belize City.
I want to assure you that this facility, that the neighborhoods, the people that live in this area, they have great pride for this. And once they know that it belongs to them, they are going to take it over and ensure that it can be there for many years to come. So it brings a level of pride, a sense of pride in the community. And then if we could do one, well, we already, you were talking about in Lake Independence, by the complex in that area, there's an area where probably could put one. And also in the Purnoyola, that's another area, so I say, or triangulate there in Southside. When you think about the benefits that we can get out of that, you know, it pays itself many times over. Have to spend, crime would go down, you don't have to spend so much on security in your house and with the police in the area. And then we have more productive citizens. Because that is what we need, more people that are prepared to go in to work.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Belize's tourism numbers continue to trend upward. Minister of Tourism Anthony Mahler confirmed that January and February saw the highest increase of overnight visitors for the year. He also noted that June was a good month for tourism in Belize. Minister Mahler spoke with us about his projections for the remainder of the year as the sector continues to rebound.
Well, we're putting in a lot of work trying to promote these festivals that we're having all across the world. We're talking to different operators and wholesalers across the world. We don't want to call it the slow season anymore. I call it the green season rather than slow season because that has a negative connotation. But we have strategically marketed Belize for the lower part of the season so that we can kind of taper off that dive that we usually see. July started well. We saw June did well, and we foresee that if no hurricane or anything happens, we foresee that we'll have a good summer season.
The Belize Tourism Board has floated a $54 million bond that it refers to as a transformational bond. It is not common to see this type of fundraising campaign coming out of the Belize Tourism Board. But Anthony Mahler, the Minister of Tourism, says it is needed to expand the work of the BTB. When we caught up with Minister Mahler over the weekend in Belize City, he shared with us how the funds will be used.
Actually, a lot of it will go into marketing, especially to attract a European carrier. It takes a lot of money to go in there. Also, we're working on a Mexican carrier, and then some of it will go into training. And so we're creating a training academy with the Florida International University. And then the bulk of it will go into infrastructure. If you look throughout the country, you will see the infrastructure is not up to par to the natural assets that we have. So we need to improve light, we need to improve water, we need to improve waste management. We need to have marinas whereby people can dock their boats from international and locally. We're looking at a rehabilitation center in Gales Point with the Clearwater Aquarium. All of these projects will come online. We have a committee that will look at the projects, and we're just talking to destinations and the local governments to see what we can collaborate on, and then we will start rolling out the projects.
Today at the House of Culture in Belize City, day of the week-long workshop on safeguarding intangible cultural heritage in emergencies in small island developing states began. Over 40 persons already actively working in their communities to preserve culture are being engaged to determine the respective needs of their people at the community level, so that in time of national emergencies, they can be adequately assisted. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
A brief opening ceremony marked the commencement of a Living Heritage and Disaster Risk Reduction workshop. It is part of an intra-regional project between the Caribbean and the Pacific, where intangible cultural heritage such as oral traditions, folklore, music, traditional knowledge of food, and even building a house are properly documented in times of emergencies.
Essentially, what we are saying is that communities have knowledge that are passed on mostly through word of mouth, but also through practices from generation to generation. And in order for that continuity to be there, there needs to be an enabling environment. And that is the role of IACR, that is the role of NICH, to support community that are documenting, that are passing on these traditions from generation to generation. We know that there are some challenges, and we know that climate change, we know that disasters are one of those challenges or threats to intangible cultural heritage.
So over the next few days, the participants will be engaged in a learning process to devise a set of recommendations for what is needed for these cultural communities in times of emergencies. And these emergencies are not limited to disasters. National Emergency Coordinator, retired Captain Daniel Mendez, says it's about ensuring that the response adequately meets the needs of a community from a cultural perspective.
Emergencies are not only hurricanes. Emergencies really look at the entire range, a spectrum of risks that we have to consider, including fires, floods, hurricanes, drought, everything you can think about. So it's really important to think about how we can incorporate, how can we use the knowledge that is already existing in communities, which is embedded in culture. So how can we as NEMO listen to people? How can we work alongside communities in order to make sure that we are truly bringing culturally appropriate assistance to communities?
Assessing the impact, we can quickly remember COVID-19, and everybody were rushing for the tea, the vervain. Everybody wanted to know, okay, what traditional knowledge exists for us to heal ourselves from this new virus, you know, and it took some while for us to grapple with that situation, and we were locked away in our homes for extensive period. People rely on culture to move ahead, to build some level of security and peace. That is the role of culture as well in times of emergency. It helps us to recover.
The foundation has already been laid, and the purpose of Living Heritage is to help to prepare and build resilience and recovery from a disaster. UNESCO Global Facilitator to Belize, Nigel Encalada, speaks to the takeaway from the workshop.
Take an inventory, just like how you inventory buildings and other items, you inventory your intangible heritage. So one of the goals is if people have to move, they move with the culture. The culture moves with them, and then even states and communities can be places that accommodate for that. Right? So this is how culture should be viewed. It's not a thing about suppressing how people live and view the world and experience the world, but trying to facilitate how people interact with the environment in terms of how they know how, no?
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Up next, it's a championship weekend for sports in Belize.
What has happened is that unfortunately Ben Jurasovic misunderstood what was asked of him.
This is our attorney at the International Court of Justice. Yeah. The Prime Minister is publicly throwing him under the bus to protect Portugal, to protect Geg and Gulab. You didn't like the answer because the answer told you the agreement is crap. No. That's not the answer you wanted to hear. No, that's the same position he reached. He tear up the agreement. That's what Ben said to do.
No good for nothing.
How did you get from point A to point B?
Obviously, it is going to be binding. Definitive agreement, that will not fly.
So Ben misunderstood. Well, then obviously you misunderstood too, because you damn well tear up the agreement, which is what Ben Geratowicz said to do on April 20th. And you make scenery on June 16th, tearing up the agreement. The man said to do it April 20th.
Every year, World Environment Day is celebrated on June 5, and the Department of the Environment, within the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management, joins the nation of Belize and other United Nations member countries in worldwide awareness and action to protect our environment, with this year's theme being to beat plastic pollution. We have seen the effects of climate change, now exacerbated by the effects of plastic pollution, primarily from single-use plastics. The Ministry, through the auspices of the Department of the Environment, has enacted the pollution from plastics regulation in 2020, noting that single-use plastics is of high environmental concern. This regulation sought to curb the environmental impacts associated with single-use plastics and to better promote green alternatives, which resulted in the development of national standards for biodegradable products.
The government of Belize, through the Department of Environment, has been controlling and enforcing these regulations to ensure that we protect Belize from the threats of plastic pollution. In so doing, nationwide market surveillance and product sampling has been conducted, resulting in enforcement actions which includes sale prohibition and confiscation of single-use plastics and styrofoam. The detrimental environmental impacts of single-use plastics are everyone's concern. The government calls upon all businesses, industries, civil societies, NGOs and you, the citizens of Belize, to have civic pride and to help in the fight against plastic pollution and to further contribute to the national efforts in transitioning to a circular economy. Together, we can beat plastic pollution. Happy World Environment Day.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart.
It's time to power your dollar with Smart. Good night and welcome to another edition of Sports Monday. I am Paul Lopez. The only one who can tell you can't win is you, and you don't have to listen. That's a quote from British Olympic track and field champion Jessica Ennis-Hill. This weekend was a championship weekend for sports in Belize. Tonight, we begin with the Venice Belize Hurricanes closeout game against the San Pedro Tiger Sharks on Friday inside the Belize City Civic Center. You will recall that the Hurricanes entered the 2023 season as one of the most controversial teams in the league. Well, all that drama did not stop them from blowing past their opponents to make it to the finals and face off against the San Pedro Tiger Sharks in a finale that was not void of entertainment, skillfulness, and an outright show of muscles. In the end, the Venice Belize Hurricanes made it out of the Shark Tank alive with their third semi-pro basketball championship. Here is a recap of how the celebrations went down.
The only thing I can say is, man, congratulations, bro. For real. Hell of a season, bro. No matter what. Hell of a season, bro. I'm proud of everybody. All the gift is one big
The way to my locals, don't let this don't let this break you. You got to realize that you took something from all of us learning things, and next season it's going to be your time.
Exactly.
All right? You don't have to worry about getting on the floor or whatnot. Everybody, it's when you get your time. I'm done. I don't need to see y'all no more.
This was the toughest season. It started with all the challenges. In the early part of the season, we were so discouraged. We felt everyone was against us. We felt our back was against the wall. But we held it together. We stood on our integrity. We stood on our Christian principles. And basically, at the end of the day, we prevailed. We prevailed through God's grace, through luck, through great management, and most important, hard work by all players. Day and night, morning and afternoon. We put in the work. And once you put in the work, you're gonna win.
Moving on now to another finals showdown. The 2023 Anthony Mahler Under-13 Mundialito tournament came to a close on Sunday with back-to-back first-place matches. The first of the two matches was between Royal Fusion girls and Queen Square girls. Both teams struggled to break through the defensive barriers of their opponents during the regular time of this match. Royal Fusion and Queen Square came out to defend their goals. This one had to be pushed into extra time. In the second half of extra time, with the game tied at 0 and less than 5 minutes on the clock, the coveted title hung in the balance. Royal Fusion's number 9 goes for the throw-in from the right wing. The ball is intercepted by Queen Square's number 12, and in a moment of reflex, her teammate hits the ball with her hand inside the penalty box. That was a costly mistake that would earn Royal Fusion 1 point from a penalty shot and place them a step closer to victory. But with less than a minute left in extra time, Queen Square's Lee Audrey Graham sends the ball flying from midfield towards the goal. Number 9 for Royal Fusion tries to clear it out of the penalty box, but sent it straight into the hand of her teammate. That was a deflating error for Royal Fusion, costing them a penalty shot and a point for Queen Square to tie the game. As a result, this one went into a penalty shootout, folks. Kiana Rekenya fires and scores. Shami Main responds with a goal. Goalkeeper Avalise Bowen shoots and her ball is stopped. Amina Berger shoots and that is pure net. Leaudrey up for the kick, and the goalkeeper just could not hold that one. Devay Macaulay fires, and that's good. Royal Fusion are now up 4-3 goals. Tiana Loriano launches, and that one goes over the post. Oceana Castillo steps up to try and close out the game. She shoots, and that one is stopped, keeping hopes alive for Queen Square, with the game still at 4-3. Jasmine Welsh is at the line, and she must score to keep the game alive. She fires, and the goalkeeper stops the ball. Royal Fusion girls were crowned the 2023 Anthony Mahler Mundialito champions in the female category. Up next was the highly anticipated male matchup between defending champs Belize United and Tutbe Yabra. After 3 intense periods of ball playing in regular time and 2 halves of extra time, this match also resulted in a penalty shootout. Jonathan Toto Garay is first up for Belize United. He shoots and scores. Next up is Dion Main for Yabra. He makes good on that one. With the game at 3-2 goals in favor of Belize United, goalkeeper Adolfo Gomez puts in the ball for the tie. At 4 goals apiece with only 1 kicker left for each team, Clive Medwood steps up for the Belize United and fires a rocket into the goal. Here the pressure is on for young Ali Thornton as it is do or die for his team. He fires, it hits the crossbar, and Belize United secures the 2023 Anthony Mahler Mundialito Championship. And finally for tonight, the Belize Volleyball Association is set to host 2 major Central American tournaments in the coming days and weeks. The Under-19 Female Central American Volleyball Championship is set to begin on Sunday, July 16th inside the Belize City Civic Center. Those games will run to Saturday, July 22nd. The Men's Central American Championship is scheduled for August 6th to the 12th. We spoke with Alan Sharp, the president of the Belize Volleyball Association.
Belize plays every night except Tuesday night. All 7 countries are here, like I mentioned. Games begin 2:30 every day. So we have 2:30, 5 o'clock, 7:30. Belize plays on the 7:30. Belize plays on the 7:30 every night except on Tuesday night. First game is against Panama on Sunday night, just after the opening. Very short opening. We look to take care of business right then and there. Second night is a huge night. Monday night is huge. Costa Rica. Costa Rica is defending champion at all ages. Costa Rica is the top team. Costa Rica is a team that Belize has been the only team to beat them for the past 30 years or so. Guatemala Friday night. Friday night is Guatemala and Saturday night with El Salvador. And on the 6th of August, the men's startup, Men's Central American Championship. This is men's. This is the fastest volleyball, the hardest hitting, the biggest blocking, the hardest serving volleyball that you will see in the region. The entrance is $10 for general, $20 for the VIP or reserve section, $5 for kids. And pre-sales, we have a special going, buy 5, get 2 free. Wow. Whether it's you buy for 5 nights, you get the next 2 nights free, or you buy 5 tickets, you get 2 tickets free.
Tickets for those upcoming matches go on sale on Thursday morning at 11 a.m. at the Civic Center. Well, folks, that's all we have for you in tonight's coverage of Sports Monday. Catch you on the next one.